Hello twin flames, welcome to my channel and welcome to this special edition tarot reading. So this is going to be a very different format, but as we approach the end of the year, I thought as a thank you for first of all having 1,000 subscribers, second of all just for your unwavering support and messages, and of course the questions and requests that I get by email. This is my way to say happy holidays, to say thank you. For somebody, maybe you have specific occasions to celebrate at this time apart from, the big holidays. So whatever it is, that's the occasion for you to feel a little bit special, to feel like, to cheer yourself maybe more with, a little tarot reading, that this will be a tarot for the upcoming year by zodiac sign. So I never actually do zodiac sign readings on this channel, not anymore anyways, because I actually do quite a lot of those on my other channel. As a lot of you know, I have a different channel called Mindful Bamboo, and if you're interested, I have monthly horoscopes for each zodiac sign over there. By the way, I will be uploading January readings very soon. And then of course, if there's something else that like a lunation event, then I also have or eclipses, I will also have a special edition reading on that channel with guidance for each zodiac sign. But I was guided to do something different, something special, and this will be a little bit of a year preview for the twins specifically. And I'll do that because sometimes it's hard to capture a lot of different scenarios in a collective read. I definitely want to go a little more specific. So what am I gonna do? I am first of all gonna start with a little bit of a generic message for everyone, and I'm gonna be using the Whispers of the Ocean Oracle today. So I'll pull 3 oracle cards from here so we can see the main themes for twins in 2025. What is going to be significant? We know a lot has been changing and shifting, and there's a lot of information out there of how the age of Aquarius and just different developments in the twin flame collective, especially with the wounded masculine and with the feminine that's rediscovering their energy. You know how things are going to be evolving. It's going to be a big year. It's going to be pretty badass. It's also going to be year number 9, which is a lot about closing out old cycles, seeing the bigger picture, and moving on to something completely different and completely new. So we'll see what those themes are, and then I'll go sign by sign. I'll start with Aries just because it's the beginning of the zodiacal wheel. I'll go around up till Pisces. So each zodiac sign will get an additional oracle card with a theme that's specific for your sign collective. And please watch this for sun, moon, and rising, not just for sun sign. Actually, like, speaking of my personal experience, if I'm watching a zodiac reading these days, I'm watching for my rising or ascendant, whichever way you want to call it, first and foremost. And then I'll see and I'll think and I'll feel through like whether I'm in the mood for a different placement. So, you're not losing anything, right? You're not risking anything. And usually those messages, like the 3 areas, right, sun, moon, and rising, could help you get a more well-rounded message overall. But anyway, each sign will get an additional oracle card, and then I have my lovely tarot of magical moments over here. So we'll get 3 cards for where your connection is going, what do you need to know about it, right? Pretty much love messages, right? So what's happening, what's going to be happening in your twin flame connection. And then 3 more cards with advice from the universe on what can help you manifest your dreams, right? Or what to pay attention to in terms of your healing and ascension journey. Yeah, I knew this was gonna happen, but we're gonna be here for a while, so I want to make sure. Let me do even this. There we go. I want to make sure that we are all set up for success. This is a little bit too close for me, but I can manage. Whew. Let's do it. There will be timestamps for each sign, so you don't have to just scroll and keep looking for things, just check it out in the description or in the comments, and you'll see it there. And of course, at any time, if you feel guided, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, and share it with others who may benefit from this type of information. All right, so let's get started with our oracle cards for everyone. All right, we'll take this. We've got every step counts, back on task, and gentle moderation. 1, 3, and 6. Very interesting, right? The progression. It's like the arithmetic sequence here. Yeah, but what do we have here? So theme number 1, every step counts. This is about making progress continuously, even if you're taking small steps. I'm actually rereading the Atomic Habits right now, which I highly recommend if you feel like this topic really resonates for you. If you only celebrate the big achievements in your life, if you're thinking about changing something, it's only like big scale for you, right? There is a lot of a lot of value in making small changes, but continuously. Do not start and stop, because that could also break the flow, right? But it's important to acknowledge that even small wins and small progress also counts, and sometimes it's the best way to progress with something. The second one is about time management and priorities, right? Do you need to fine-tune your goals, your dreams, and your ambition, right? We are very strong at, especially in the Western paradigm of the culture, of the philosophy, of the even trends and social media, right? The whole concept of coming up with New Year's resolutions, of coming up with big plans, next year I'm gonna change my life. It's gonna be so much better. I'm not gonna make the same mistakes. I'm gonna take care of my health. Like, it all sounds amazing. Usually by the end of January, people lose track of those big dreams, right? Because life happens, routine happens, you have all kinds of responsibilities, and it kind of like all falls through the cracks into some kind of, I'll do that later, or yeah, I'll come back to that, or this doesn't have to happen today. This card is saying be on the task and always be mindful of your priorities, of your goals. What are you trying to achieve, right? And don't give up on the big dream just because it's gonna take a while, right? Break it down into something smaller that you can celebrate, that you can achieve in a quarter, in a month, in a week, right? But don't just throw it away. And then we have gentle moderation. Take your time. Pressure from others or yourself can be released by negotiating what you're trying to accomplish. Yeah, so remember that you are your main critique and your main judge in all of this. And as long as, it's probably a good thing to keep yourself responsible and accountable, and, give yourself feedback where maybe you've made some mistakes, right? Or you could do better, but don't get carried away with it, right? And don't go from one extreme to another, right? From something strongly unhealthy to something super healthy. Like it may help recalibration, but it's also gonna be, it's gonna feel a lot more like tower moments in your life, right? And maybe you are an adrenaline junkie and you like that. You're like, yes, where do I sign up for that? Big moves, big changes, just something that like comes in my life and just shocks me, knocks me off my feet, right? If you're that person, then of course, keep going, right? But for the most of us, it is extra stressful. It is unnecessarily draining on our energy. So don't go too much into any of the direction, right? Everything in moderation, we say. All right. With that said, this was our reading for everyone. And I'm just going to lay out the oracle cards so I can pull one for each sign. And we'll proceed with the tarot for each zodiac sign. And we will start with Aries, as I promised. So, Aries, what is your additional theme of the year in your twin flame journey? Convey your meaning, number 41, the eel. Reflect on the way you communicate with others and with yourself. Be sure to express your thoughts and feelings from your heart and with respect and sincerity. You know what? I'm not an Aries, but it's definitely a big one on my list for next year. Communication is a very important topic, whether it's in romantic relationships or in business relationships, even the way you talk to yourself. A lot of us, especially if we've had a traumatic childhood, or we had parents who were over demanding, or somehow showed us that we're not enough, this is a very typical pattern where we have a lot of negative self-talk, right? And it can be through subtle messages, through subtle things, or sometimes even through emotions that we give ourselves. So try to notice that if that's something that you feel could be the case, but you're not sure, right? Journal about experiences. How did it make you feel? What did you tell yourself after this or that event happened, right? And this would be a big topic for you to convey your meaning with kindness and authenticity. And it doesn't mean not to have any difficult conversation at all. It just means that, you can, if you feel like in the moment you're not in the space to be able to have that kind of conversation, don't have it, right? But when you do prepare for it, just first of all, of course, get yourself into the emotional balance, right? But also think through the points that you want to bring across. Think about the value and the goal of that conversation, right? If the conversation is just about you blaming another person, or the opposite, like feeling sorry for yourself and telling them, oh my God, my life is da 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 da, right? Like, what's the point? What's the big point you're trying to make? And mind it that the point could be that you're looking for comfort and support. That's a point of itself. But you can also communicate that, like, I'm going through a tough time right now. I could really use your support. And that, maybe it will sound the same for you at the first second. But then if you think about it, if somebody speaks to you the first way or the second way, makes all the difference in the world. Okay, let's see what we have for Aries with tarot. So for your twin flame collection, we have Ace of Pentacles, 10 of Cups. This is my injured card. I really need to tape it. I don't know how it happened, but an 8 of Pentacles. It's a very artistic card in this deck. And the advice, 3 of Pentacles, the Justice. I'm gonna be moving on a little faster because I'm not doing this too often, but I definitely don't want this to be too long of a read. 2 of Cups. Beautiful. You got 2 of Cups. You got 10 of Cups. It's like, Aries, you've got the emotional jackpot here. The question is, though, are you going to be able to stay grounded and also in your high vibrational creative self, right? Like, there is a lot of, like, this card obviously is like the height of the emotional fulfillment. And I like that they're actually, like, they're together underwater and above water, right? And underwater things look very much different because they are sea creatures, right? But whatever it is, and of course you can develop this the way it resonates for you, what it means, being together in different levels for other people and just for yourselves, what your life look like externally, internally, right? But this is that balance where it's not going to be a pretty picture just for the show. It's going to be really the union of hearts, right? But it's important to, first of all, keep track and stay focused on where you see your mission and purpose. How can you keep expanding it? How can you be growing yourself through, like, a personal growth I'm talking about, through the mission and purpose? Is your current plan for mission and purpose helping you grow personally? Is it helping unleash your creativity, your artistic self? And each of us has that, right? I love this Eight of Pentacles in this deck because it's so creative. It's so beautiful, right? It's like what you call work doesn't really have to be that hard. It needs to be more playful and something that really brings you joy, right? And once you embrace that, then the joy that you have together is just gonna be very much in your face. It's just gonna be there. You don't need to do anything for it. In terms of doing things, we have Three of Pentacles, the Justice, and the Two of Cups. Definitely Two of Cups to me, well, actually both Three of Pentacles and Two of Cups is about healthy collaboration and communication, right? It's like the kind conversation, and this could be, of course, with your twin. This could be with somebody else who feels like a kindred soul, right? It's about working as a team with other people, not just feeling like nobody gets you and I'm gonna do this all by myself. No, even the Justice card, it represents Libra energy, and Libra is about friendships, it's about companionship, it's about working with someone else, talking to someone else, living this life with someone else. So think about that, Aries. It's the energy opposite to yours on the axis. But this is sometimes exactly what we need to embrace to find ourselves in it. Okay, so this was your reading. That was Aries. Now, let me just give a quick shuffle and we're gonna move on to Taurus. Okay, Taurus, your card, your additional theme for 2025 is empower yourself. Tune in into it's a flying fish. The fish that literally can kind of like hop over, but almost like fly over in shallow waters. Tune into your personal power. You're more than able to handle the situation facing you. Allow yourself to be a strong, beautiful person you're capable of being. Right? So this is a reminder of how capable you are. And I mean, come on, the fish can fly, right? And it's almost like that kind of like, you don't even know how powerful you are. So don't let, yourself to be talked out of something just because it feels like you're not good enough or you don't know enough or it's not the time yet, right? Go for it. The universe is telling you, you are ready. You are capable. Okay, let's see what we have for you. So for your twin flame collection and connection, we have Six of Cups, Eight of Swords, and Seven of Wands. Wow, gates in both cards. You're breaking out of the gaze. That's what I'm sensing for Taurus, but I'll speak to that in a moment. Advice, the Temperance, King of Wands, and Two of Swords. Interesting. Okay, so in terms of your connection, there's a lot here about your personal space, Taurus. And I'm not saying that you're not necessarily going to be in union or you're not going to be happy with your person, but the key to being happy with your person is in being free and happy by yourself. And I don't just mean like always alone, but I mean within you as an individual, right? This is like you've been in a safe space too long, and that space was actually, it seemed fine for a while, but it was actually a cage on some level. It kept you safe long enough. It was necessary at the time, but now it's time to break free. You don't need that feeling of safety, quote unquote, anymore, right? And you don't need to look at the world as hostile and, trying to take advantage of you or hurt your feelings, right? This is the time to, if anything, embrace your inner child. Remember, the passions of childhood, the fun times, what you love doing, what kind of people you wanted to be with, what kind of person you wanted to be, right? Do more of the playful stuff. If you have children in your surrounding, spend more time with children, because they will remind you how easy it is sometimes to get into the joyful, playful state. And that's exactly what you need. Don't be so serious. Don't be like, okay, I need to shield myself from all the grief, or, you know, like if I don't protect myself, nobody will. This is moving into more, and that's the empowering, right? That you don't need to kind of set all these extra barriers. You are strong enough to be vulnerable and open and free and show up in the world as that kind of person. The advice that I have for you, so we have the Temperance, the King of Wands, and the Two of Swords. So the first thing I heard when I pulled out this card is you don't really need to do much, right? This person is sitting pretty. Temperance is about patience, is about observation. It's about the internal process, right? The alchemical process. This is also a dancer to me in this deck specifically. So even a dancer sometimes can use a minute to sit, to look around and see the world with different colors. Or maybe after you're done with your dance, right? Sit down and just enjoy that moment, that energy that you're in. Be grateful for it. And when you are taking action, make sure that it's really something special, that it's important, that it's making impact. That, remember that card that we just talked about, to empower yourself. Once you feel empowered, you can empower so many more people around you. So whatever you choose to do with your time, because we had one of those collective cards, is to be mindful of your time management and your priorities. So whatever you decide is going to be your top priority, needs to be that you come in with a bang, quite literally in this card, right? You make it known that you're there, who you are, what kind of mission you have in this world, and that will be making a difference and will be impacting people around. First of all, on the energetic level, but in terms of their mindset as well. And then the Two of Swords is sometimes you could, of course, be doubting yourself still. You could be so doubtful about the choice you're gonna make, or you should make, that you wouldn't be making any at all and you would procrastinate. So this is just something to be mindful about. And what I'm hearing is not to punish yourself for that. So basically, it's not like it's never gonna happen. It's not like I'm not allowed to make a mistake, right? But be knowledgeable of that, and then you can make a more informed decision of whether you actually want to take a break and you actually don't want to be taking action at this time, or whether you're not ready to make this choice and you want to take a time out for yourself. Or maybe you want to make a choice and this is distracting you, right? And you will find a way to make a decision. All right, that was Taurus. Now let's go to Gemini. Gemini, your additional theme for 2025 is resilience. There is no need to rush or push. This is a time to take things as they come. You have the determination and patience to handle what is happening. So just following the natural flow, right? Trusting the process, trusting the divine timing. Love it. Ooh. Okay, so for Gemini, we have Seven of Swords. We have Death. And we have the Sun. Wow. This is so cool, especially in this order. And then the advice, Ten of Pentacles, lovely. King of Swords. And the Star. Look at all the major arcanas. This is beautiful. Wow. Okay, so in terms, let me just see. In terms of your twin flame connection, you have Seven of Swords, Death, and Sun. So I'll tell you what, there will be some kind of reveal of where you've been overextending yourself, or you've been somehow fooling yourself, right? Seven of Swords is about that kind of sneaky behavior. And don't be surprised if it turns out that actually you were responsible for this sneaky bit, meaning that you were actually not very kind or honest to yourself, right? You were maybe covering up for people's problems, or you were telling yourself, I can handle it, and you kept staying in bad situations, right? But whatever it is, it's not even the point. Like, the point is that you can see it and you can do something about it, right? And guess what? The universe is 100% with you there. That something is going to be put to bed. Maybe your old personality trait, some kind of lifestyle, some kind of habit, maybe even a partnership. And it will open you up. Or it can be a phase in your twin flame connection. Because remember, every new phase that we have with the twin, even if it's the same person, it still will feel like a different energy, right? So this will be the end of one of those stages, one of those phases. But it's only happening so that the new phase can come. It's almost like you've overstayed in the previous phase and you've outgrown it. It doesn't work for you anymore. It's time to acknowledge that. And I actually like that it's in the sun card in this deck has that bird. And to me, this is almost like that work in progress, that the sun still has some kind of a darkness on it, right? Something that's covering the vision, right? Because it's covering part of her face, one of her eyes. So it's not like everything is gonna be just with a flip of a finger, everything's gonna be perfect. But it's gonna be so much better, especially on the contrast of these two things. So it might be difficult to let go of the old, so you can work with that. Whether it's a relationship, like I was saying, even just a habit of yours or some part of your lifestyle that you're leaving behind, right? But this should give you hope and inspiration that it's actually happening because something a lot more loving and beautiful is ahead. And in terms of the advice, we have 10 of Pentacles, King of Swords, and the Star. So, yeah, it's definitely showing me that you're going to be busy with your light work, right? And that's something to focus on. Your mission, where you see yourself diving into your gifts, seeing where your strengths are, right? Turning it into success. These are very masculine energies. So if, again, be mindful of the balance. That's what I can say to you. That, you know, you don't go into too much of the extreme towards masculine or towards feminine, especially if you're a divine feminine watching, right? Like, it's important to embrace these skills, and it's definitely going to be beneficial in terms of building your business, right? That you're going to be structured, that you're going to be logical, you're going to lay out the messaging, the branding, everything. 10 of Pentacles skills is the more of marketing skills, sales skills, and ability to invest and turn things around and grow, right? But always keep an eye on the soul journey, on the bigger picture, and on how it resonates and how it aligns with your life story and life journey. Don't get too hung up on the numbers of success. Success will happen naturally as long as you're aligned with that bigger mission and purpose. Okay. That was Gemini. Don't forget to hit that like button, please. All right, now we have Cancer. So, Cancer. Sorry. Just keeping an eye on time a little bit. Let's see. Come on. So, Cancer, your additional theme for 2025 is adrift in shallow water. Take a few deep breaths and reconnect to your inner peace. Notice the small things and appreciate them. So even when, and maybe especially when things get tough, take a moment to breathe and notice. what's interesting about the situation? What's the purpose of it? Why are you here? Right? I try to see if it's like you're placed there for a reason. It's almost like an escape room or quest, right? You have an assignment. See what it is for. Don't become reactive. All right. What do we have for Cancer today? For your twin flame connection, we have Page of Swords. I almost said collection again. Oh my god. Two of Cups, beautiful. And Knight of Cups, nice. And then the advice, Ace of Cups. Look at all the cups, Cancer, but I feel like it's really up your alley. Nine of Wands and Nine of Pentacles. You see year 9 and you have so many nines here. Okay, so for your twin flame connection, we have Page of Swords, Two of Cups, and Knight of Cups. So I'm getting you're going to be learning some new skills. A lot of them are going to be about relationships and communication. We actually saw a lot of things for communication for Aries. So maybe check out that message as well. But the bottom line is there's so much potential for you and your person to grow closer together, to build that bond, to really spend quality time with each other. But just as important is for you to keep learning, keep noticing. Use the time with your person as your Google map of like the route that you go on to, I don't want to say better yourself, but to expand your knowledge and your empathy, you know, and just your intuitive direction in terms of how you do relationships, right? And again, it's kind of like everything in moderation, right? We saw that gentle moderation as one of the collective themes. So it's important not to go to the extremes in any way. But there will be some information, maybe there will be a training program even that will come into your attention, or some useful books that somehow the friend will recommend. You'll be like, oh, yeah, usually I don't read books like that, but maybe give it a try this time. And then Knight of Cups is, of course, about expressing yourself. And again, I was given an example in an earlier reading about, you know, even speaking of something painful or hurtful in a kind way can happen. Even if you've been hurt by this person you're talking to, you can still express yourself in a way of like, you know, you hurt my feelings. I didn't expect this, or this was confusing to me. I don't understand, right? And you can say it in a calm and kind way so that you too can reach some kind of resolution, especially if you understand what's the purpose of this conversation. Why are you saying, what are you trying to get to? The harder it is emotionally, the more preparation you may need to resolve that, right? It's not to say not to have it at all. It just says, you know, be better informed on how these things work. Why do we get upset about this or that? How do you work with your triggers? First of all, within yourself, and this is where the actions actually are, and then involving other people. Because of course, if, you know, this close someone hurt our feelings and it was a big deal, then the best way is, of course, to have a conversation with them, not just to pretend like nothing happened. And so here in the action area, I definitely see self-love, taking care of yourself and healing the old wounds, because they're still gonna show up now and then. There's still gonna be some fear to be vulnerable and to go all into the relationship, whether it's with your twin or with a friend, with somebody else who comes close to you. Right, so it's very important to find that joy and abundance and just, you know, happy and comfortable lifestyle within your own right. To be able to see, you know, who you are and value yourself in that place. To be able to know what you actually enjoy doing and what gives you, what puts a smile on your face, you know, what makes you happy, and how much you don't actually need your twin to be in that space, to be in that state, right? You may be thinking when you're in it, like, oh, I'd love them to be here so I can tell them the story, or they can enjoy this with me. I'm sure they would love it. And a lot of times that would exactly be the case. Our twin would love to do what we love doing, right? These are the areas where we definitely overlap big time. That's part of the magic, right? But it's not like you don't feel like you can enjoy it if they're not around, you know? Okay, this was Cancer. Now, let's see what we have for Leo. I'll do a quick shuffle. Oh, my injured card. So Leo, one of your additional themes of the year, your additional theme of the year is distinctive potential, number 23. Rely on your faith and the knowledge that nothing is impossible. Use your determination to hang in there until you until you realize a goal. Determination and knowing about your potential, that's what's going to be huge for you, Leo. All right. Let's see what we have with tarot here. For your connection, you have 8 of Cups, 6 of Wands, and the Wheel of Fortune. Beautiful. And then the advice, we have 9 of Swords, 6 of Cups, and the Tower. Wow. Okay, so for your twin flame connection, definitely there is a big opportunity for being successful. I actually love this in terms of the love story because that's how usually the energy of the 6 of Wands. But in this deck, if you notice, the artwork, it's the bird and the girl, and they are both supporting each other, nurturing each other in the ways that the other one wants it and needs it, right? So it's a beautiful partnership. It's just very much a kind of like we're on top of the world, quite literally, with each other. So that's the potential that you have. It will come at the divine timing though. So, you know, don't try to force it, to push it. Don't confront your person that somehow you're not here yet. Right? It's not about that. If anything, it's about removing anxiety and any kind of coping mechanisms on your side that are not healthy, right? Do you avoid any confrontation? Do you have any addictions? Do you tend to be passive aggressive? If you get upset and you're not really dealing with it, but you're kind of sending the message and it feels like it's a better way because you're not really sharing your upsets or being angry at your person, but actually, if anything, it might actually be worse if you ask me in the long term. That covert aggression, or what is expressed with passive aggressive wording, can be quite hurtful for the psyche of the other person. So I guess somebody needed to hear that because it just came to me, but that's the way to go. So don't look at the other person and like watch them as a hawk, or like, are you ready for cloud 9 yet? Are you ready for that victory in the union together yet? But look at yourself and what can you work with so that the way you show up in relationships, in any kind of collaboration, looks healthier and looks lighter. So it's actually better for you to begin with. When it comes to advice, there's definitely something around working through childhood trauma, connecting to your inner child, and remembering times when you were somehow shamed for who you are, maybe for the way you look, specifically with this card, something about your looks, maybe about your health or how you behave. Something that created the wound on you, that created like this label that something's wrong with you, right? It's important to dive deeper and to go there and to work with it. Of course, there are all kinds of areas of therapy, of hypnosis, past life regressions or kind of things like that that help you dive deeper if nothing's coming up. But I'm hearing also that it's not that deep. Like, you just need to keep going through childhood stories, remembering what's important. Maybe look up your childhood pictures. Maybe there were some creative works that you created, like, I don't know, maybe you were embroidering something or painting, or you have tapes of your piano concerts and you can watch and you will remember something about those times. The Tower moment here is obviously out of your control. This is more of a warning, but also a reminder that there are things that are not in your control, right? So this again is to remember that whenever this happens, it's happening for you, not to you, right? And be able to work with that energy and see how it can lead you to some solutions, to some answers, to a better place in your life. Even if you're gonna lose something that's been very helpful to you for a while, right? And you thought that that's really amazing, or I'm so lucky that I have da-da-da-da-da. But this is the time to find new ways. This is part of the growth process. Okay, that was Leo. Now we're gonna go to Virgo. Virgo, your additional theme of the year is amble with contentment. Oh my God, those words. Waiting rather than acting is going to be the most advantageous now. Interesting, right? Sometimes it's the hardest thing to do. Just wait. Don't do anything. I wouldn't say don't do anything throughout the year, but I feel like some of you guys may have some anxiety of like wanting to make things happen. And it's not always the best way. That's the point. Let's see what we have with tarot. And of course, it's, you know, about contentment of where you are. Finding that contentment if you can. So in your connection, you have King of Wands, Six of Wands, and Two of Wands. Look at all the fire. You're dealing with a fire sign, Virgo. Somebody very different from Virgo. Or you could have a lot of fire in your chart. That's possible too. And then the advice is Knight of Swords, the Empress, and the Lovers. Beautiful. These are such great cards, honestly. So, in terms of your love connection, what I see here for your twin flame journey, there could be some difficult choices next year. And this could be actually your person. You know, if they have fire sign, if they have a lot of fire in their chart, right? So this would be a very tempting opportunity, right? To maybe move somewhere where they are based, right? Or, I don't know, quit your job and start working where they work so that you can spend more time together. And maybe you don't even tell them that that's the reason, right? But still, such a lucrative plan and you may want to go with it. There is a big potential, again, speaking of potential and contentment, there's definitely an opportunity to reach in that next level unity with each other, that both of you will see as a victory, as something beautiful, as something that brings a lot of value, right? But be careful with over engineering things. That's what I'm getting, right? And I like that even in the Two of Wands, which is usually a card of choice, the girl is kind of like sitting and watching the moon, and to me is kind of asking questions, maybe meditating, maybe praying, right? It's not really about going out there and changing things around and being in control, but it's more about using your intuitive guidance, your discernment, to see when to act and when to just be still and notice and even wait maybe, right? And enjoy where you are. But I love this potential. And I love actually even the fact that this King of Wands is kind of like his heart space here is covered in flame. Like, to me, that's very much a twin flame sign, right? Quite literally, there's a flame here. right? So for some of you, actually, your person would be waking up more to the whole point of the twin flame journey. Maybe they won't call it that way, but they will see a lot more depth and meaning in this connection. In terms of the advice, we have Knight of Swords, the Empress, and the Lovers. Obviously, the universe is bringing you together and bringing you to the place of power and creativity. It's also the Mother card, right? Some of you could be starting a family this year, who knows, right? But it's bringing you together with people who love you and who you love. Doesn't even have to be your twin, but it's really important to be in that loving space, surrounded by people who love you, to discover and express your full potential, to also be more confident in speaking your point of view, expressing your thoughts and ideas, right? It's a little bit of a safer space, but it's necessary to this starts you off that way, right? So you gain more confidence and you understand that you don't really need to fight your way to get to the Empress state, right? If you're in that favorable environment, it will elevate you and it will support you with your steps, with your creative pursuits, with whatever would feel like you're utilizing your full potential. You think about the Maslow pyramid, that would be that top of the pyramid with the self-actualization. That's what's being asked of you. That's where you've been taken to, Virgo. Beautiful. All right, so next one is gonna be Libra. We're moving slowly but surely. All right, so Libra, your theme of the year is number 22. Take note. Your answers are being given to you. Quieting external voices and excessive noise will give you the chance to hear what is being offered. So up on your meditation practice, your prayers, any kind of mindfulness techniques you find useful and helpful to quiet your mind, to be able to hear the downloads that the universe is giving me. Now that as I'm saying it, I'm hearing such a ringing in my ear, my left ear. Oh my God. That's one of the ways my guides communicate with me. So thank you for that support, guys. So in terms of your twin flame connection, what do we have? We have the World. We have the Moon. Wow, big energies. And we have the Emperor. Nice. All major arcanas. What can possibly go wrong? But I feel like that take note actually has so much, like, it's such an interesting alignment with the major arcanas, right? Because it's like the universe is giving you the answers, giving you the opportunities, is putting you into situations where you can make the most of, you know, that can help you get to where you want to get to. Just about noticing those, right? But I'll speak more about this. And your advice is Knight of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, and Seven of Pentacles. Wow, somebody's gonna be busy with their business. Ooh. Abundance is like the word for next year for you. Okay, so in terms of your twin flame journey, you have all this, well, actually, yeah, you have all the major arcanas. So it's almost like, I wouldn't say that you don't need to worry about it, you don't need to do anything, because as part of this, all these archetypal themes, you will need to take action. But don't think that you need to figure out something like a plan or, you know, come up with some kind of strategy. The universe is bringing you the strategy, right? And it's going to be, part of it is going to be connected with power struggle within the connection, right? Who makes decision? Where's the line between me and we, right? Who's in charge? How do you make sure that the interests of each person, the needs and the wants are being taken into account when finding compromise? Also, it's going to be a lot about the emotional state and dealing with each other's emotional states. You know, especially when Like, it's one thing if one of you is in a bad place and the other one is in a good place, you can support each other. But what if both of you actually are struggling that day, right? What if in the moment you just like, it's a moment of stress, of distress? How do you deal with it? Finding ways, and finding ways for yourself, and and when I say finding ways, I mean even with each other, right? Like agreeing, okay, this is what we're gonna do. So we're a little better prepared when we're in that state when it's really hard to take things under control and to be level-headed. So we just need to have our tools ready for that time when, trouble strikes somehow. And the world, of course, is about, well, actually, in this case, I'm hearing that it's going to change your worldview. So some events are going to change your worldview altogether. And it's almost like to the point where you are like, oh, I've seen this whole journey run the whole time, right? Or I've seen my place in this world run the whole time, right? So yeah, very interesting. And it's going to be in a global perspective. That's going to be important. That it's not just like, it's kind of like seeing the differences between cultures, countries, nations, climates, whatever could be that point of contrast between where you are and seeing what life could be like in other places, in other environments, right? And then by seeing contrast, you'll be able to grow from there, to lift yourself up and help other people. And then with the advice, we definitely see a lot of pentacles here. So remember that part where we say every step counts. That's exactly the Knight of Pentacles journey, right? Continue making progress. You know how to get to this entrepreneurship state. If you're already there, keep going. Don't listen to anyone who keeps telling you otherwise. Or, if some kind of guru or business partner or somebody else is trying to tell you what your priorities should be, or the way you should prioritize this, the way you should feel about it. That's what I was gonna say, right? Have your strategy ready and keep going at it. And if your strategy doesn't involve being in this place of abundance and success the way you see it right away, right? Like maybe you have an ambitious goal, but your plan only includes like the first, 10% of it, right? Or maybe even less because you don't really know how many steps are there. That's fine. Any kind of progress, any step you make counts. Even if it turns out to be an unsuccessful step, but the fact that you were trying, that you put in the effort, that you made it something important in your life is going to make all the difference in the world. That was Libra. And now we're going to go with Scorpio. Scorpio, your additional theme of 2025 is going to be single-mindedness. Choose your own path and what is best suited to you. Don't listen to others. You know the best. Alrighty. So Scorpio, for your connection, we have Knight of Cups. I like that she's actually, if you notice, she's playing an instrument and it's a heart. Wow. Just taking a moment to acknowledge that. It looks a little bit like a harp, but I know it's not a harp. There is an instrument that's smaller than a harp. I just don't know the name. And look at that, for once, baby. Yeah, baby. The Hermit, baby. Oh my gosh, it's number 9, by the way. And we're talking about year 9 in numerology. All right. Wow, the Empress. This is the advice. 9 of Wands. And Lovers. Wow. Love is going to be the name of the game for you next year, Scorpio. Are you ready for it? This is huge. Wow. Definitely, for a lot of you, this is a real chance to come to union with your person, to make your connection much stronger, the strongest that it's ever been, and to really find ways to appreciate each other, right? You will find new ways of new phase of finding. You will find new level of intimacy, right? And you will find out something new about yourself in those moments of intimacy, of what your heart is like, what your soul is like, each of you. So that's the magic part, right? That your person is gonna find that out, and they're gonna, they're gonna have their boots knocked off, right? Or socks knocked off, whatever they have on. Like, whoa, this is what it's just talking to someone, being with them can do to me. And then the Hermit is, I feel like it's more of a reminder. It's a very interesting Hermit because it actually appeals to the point of like a planet here, right? It's like a global Hermit. But I would add that it's important, what I feel here is important to be curious and understand what your personal experiences mean on the global stage, on the global arena, within the global reality, right? Even if you feel like your experiences have nothing to do with global reality, try to find that perspective. Read up on some news, or maybe there are some like publications that you're subscribing to, and that can give you that idea. Some kind of trusted source, and definitely not just about your country, but globally, right? And try just to sit with that information when you hear it, especially if it strikes you as something important, right? And then connect to it through your personal experience. And that will give you a lot of clarity on how your story and what you're doing in your personal light worker life, karmic path, and mission, how much it makes a difference in the world. Okay. As for the advice, we have the Empress, Nine of Wands, and the Lovers. Again, Empress and Lovers is a major arcana, so it's like, don't run away from love when it's just coming at you, right? Don't push the person away, right? Or when you get opportunities to be creative and create, again, don't feel too small. Don't play it down, or don't throw it out like, no, it's not important right now. I'm gonna deal with it later, right? That was one of our Back on Task was one of our collective cards. No, like own it, own your beauty, your potential, and then, it's always the best time to reconnect to that Empress in yourself. Even if you're masculine watching, by the way. The Empress is the quintessential energy of, yes, divine feminine, but more than anything of nurturing and of creative energy, which each of us has. The one thing that I would say is important for you to do and maybe to initiate is keep healing your old wounds that may be preventing you from establishing this deep loving connection, whether it's with your twin or with somebody else who's close to you, right? Like there's still some themes where you're keeping yourself shielded from going all in, from being the most vulnerable version of yourself and showing your love fully, right? Look at those fears and those patterns, how you can deal with them. And from personal experience, I could say, see how you can deal with them with people you trust, right? Like, and by that, I don't mean, like, how do I put this? Like, you can trust, 50 people, right? And you can say, I have trusted relationships. They could be, colleagues, clients, neighbors, right? It could be a wider range, a wider group. But with this, practice it with people who you've known for a long time and you have more of that intimacy with. So it doesn't turn out that you actually open up your heart on a deeper level and you'll find out that that person doesn't even do those things. So they'll react emotionally, or they'll be selfish in that situation, and they'll break your heart and they'll get you even deeper into Nine of Wands, right? Like, for this specific exercise, pick somebody who's a safer choice. But going that extra mile with them is not going to be very safe. But that's where the growth is. Hope that makes sense. Okay, now we go to Sagittarius. Almost there. We have Saggy, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. All right, so it's sign number 9. Sagittarius, your additional theme for 2025 is be insightful and established. Colorful card. Ground and rebalance your energy. Bring your awareness into the now, rather than allowing it to occupy the past or the future. Very interesting, right? So this is about staying in the now. Again, to me, this immediately speaks to curiosity, observation, and partly not being too worried about the past or the future, because remember, that's the main thing that our brain likes to do. And hence all the mindfulness techniques that we have, meditation being the main of it, in the list, is to get us to focus on the now and not to drain our energy worrying about things that are outside of our control anyway. Okay, Sagittarius, for your connection, you have Ace of Cups, you have Page of Wands, I feel like that's your person actually, and the Temperance. All right. And then the advice is Six of Swords, the Tower, and the Ace of Swords. It's interesting how the colors actually look alike in these cards. Wow. A little darker than I would like to, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's start with the colorful part, which also actually matches quite a lot. It's, oh my god, it's so beautiful. You have red and you have the blue and white and yellow, sorry, in the background. It's like one story, you know. So what I got while I was I was laying this out, is that there are definitely some lessons that both of you are learning, and you need to be patient with yourself and your person while you do it. This is your person. That's what I'm sensing, that energy. It's just quiet, young, but also very curious. And it could be that your person is younger than you, of course, but more likely it's like they're not as advanced on the spiritual journey as you are, and they are starting off, right? So they may seem a little off from the distance, right? Like the way they approach it, or they may be telling you about their insight, you'd be like, that's pretty obvious. Yeah. No groundbreaking information here. But to them, it is, you know, and that's part of being patient and respect that space and, you know, support them with love. So, approaching this relationship with love, this dynamic, is going to be huge. And I don't just mean like romantic love or saying I love you or something. Sometimes being quiet, staying in your lane is something you can do out of love. Sometimes not being condescending when the person is saying something that they've just found out and you've known for many years. Like, that's love. Taking care of yourself when you feel like you have so many responsibilities, so many places to be at, is the show of love. So see how many more cases of this love can you can you express to yourself and to other people. And it doesn't always mean action, but if it's in your energy, if it's the way that you're approaching situation, that's going to be a huge difference for you and your person, both. But what I was going to say also, that they are discovering things around relationships, around love, around what they want in life. And that's huge to them, because they haven't really had those answers before, or not as clearly. Maybe they had some hints, but they weren't sure. In terms of the advice, we have Six of Swords, the Tower, and Ace of Swords. So, like with the darkness, especially since it's connected with the sky, and it even has some stars here, I feel like this is a guidance, this is the advice to look into your intuition, to look into the space where what's it called? Go into the space where you can really connect to your guides, connect to your higher power, right? This is going to be the best way to get guidance, to find out what to do in this situation or in that situation. to always clear your mind as well and go back to that now moment. That's Ace of Swords, right? The clarity, seeing things clearly, not from the trauma of the past and not worrying about the future, just as they are, right? Being in the space of calm and balance. Again, that speaks to that insightful and established card. The Tower is gonna throw you off, right? It's always sudden. It always brings changes that we don't anticipate and we don't really want. At least we think so. But again, it's gonna be something to shake you up, and the best way that you can prepare for it, if in any case, in any way at all, is to stay balanced and be able to have those tools to ground yourself, to be in the now, to see things clearly. It's going to be a much easier way for you to realize why that happened in the first place and what would be the way forward from here. Okay, that was Sagittarius. The next sign we're going to go to is Capricorn. Okay, Capricorn, your additional theme of 2025 for your twin flame connection is keeping it in check. Pay attention to what is going on around you. You might be moving into something too quickly or missing some important details. So again, being curious, notice things. Do a check-in now and then. The new book of Gabby Bernstein is coming out in just a week from now, and the check-in process is one of the main processes she has. The book is called Self-Help, and it's going to be a lot about family, the internal family systems, IFS, which is a kind of a trademark therapy technique. But yeah, a big part of it and the techniques that Gabby speaks about, you know, as advice to the readers, is the check-in process. And check-in mainly is about figuring out what's happening right now. Where are you? What is going on? What are you supposed to know about it? What are you supposed to notice? Why are you reacting the way you are? What's your emotion and why? Right? Very important. Be that detective and investigate. Capricorn is actually very good. I feel like if we're speaking like stereotypically across the board of zodiac signs, that Capricorns would make the best detectives. Okay, with that said, for your twin connection, you have Ace of Swords, Ace of Cups, beautiful, new beginnings, and the Empress. Wow, beautiful. And then the advice for you is the Hanged Man, Six of Pentacles, and the Chariot. Even the Chariot is a snail. I mean, a lot of people are getting messages that it's not about movement, it's not about the speed, it's almost like it's about quality and not quantity, right? And I feel like it's something like that for you as well. Okay, so in terms of the connection, you have new beginnings here in terms of the communication and actual emotional intimacy. So there's something here that you're establishing with your person. That could be a new phase entirely in your relationship, or maybe you're just getting to know your person, and this is like the new way for you to do things, right? Like, you know that you've had your certain patterns, certain templates of thinking and behaving, and now you're establishing this with a clean slate with completely new outlook, which is beautiful, right? And if you feel like things have been tough in your dynamic, then this is saying that next year you will have a chance to start it all fresh, and not just like we're gonna not talk for 2 months and then we'll get together again. No, this is like both of you are gonna be in a place where you'll want things to be different, but in a good way, you know, like we are growing up, we don't want to make the same mistakes, right? We can do this so much better, so much better. The Empress is the energy that's all about creativity and also nurture and care. So it's going to be really important for you to be able to be in the place where you feel cared for, where you feel safe, and where you feel you can be yourself fully. And yes, of course, you can dive deeper into your faith, into your spiritual life for that, especially probably, well, whoever is more spiritually awake in your connection. Maybe you both are, so that will work both ways. For usually masculines who are not as advanced, there could be other ways, right? There could be techniques, like I was just mentioning Gabby Bernstein's book. Maybe get that book and there will be specific instructions. It's not about talking to your guides, right? It's a lot more kind of like just psychological set of instructions and what can you do to get yourself into a grounded space where you can be your best self. Or at the very least, even if you acknowledge that you're not in your best place and just can't just flip a finger and, you know, just flip a toggle and be in a great space, right? Maybe you're going through something tough, but at least have compassion and kindness and love towards that state that you're in, and maybe understand more about where it's coming from. For advice, by the way, so I started saying that it's not about the speed, right? Don't rush yourself. The Hangman is all about taking time for contemplation and seeing a different perspective. The Chariot with the snail is like, yeah, always had that every step counts, right? Like moving forward may seem a little slow for other people, but it's good enough, right? Nobody said that it needs to be a specific distance covered in specific time. And then Six of Pentacles is of course about harmony of communication. It's about equal give and take, whether it's with your twin or with other people who are close to you in your life, right? See how you can, and I love this tea party here, basically, right? See how you can connect with the other person where you both can be at your best energy. Maybe it will be over tea, right? Or I don't know, in your pickleball club, or going on hikes, or maybe it's a meditation club, right? Or you're working out together. But whatever it is, see where you can be that, both of you can be in that inspired state where you can be your best and you can, you know, do that. You can initiate that give and take from a healthy place. Okay, hopefully that made sense. That was Capricorn, and we are gonna go into Aquarius. Aquarius, your additional theme for 2025 is the gift of neutrality. Wow, that's a popular topic today. Balance is at work in your life. Yin and yang are opposites in energy, but reside side by side to create the gift of neutrality. And actually, I said it a few times in other readings that you don't want to go to a certain extreme, and that goes for feminine and masculine as well. And of course, you can interpret that as more like action, inaction, being more proactive and aggressive versus being more passive and receptive, right? We want a balance. We don't want to kind of go into just one of those energies, right? Okay, something fell out, and I think that's important. Okay, let's see what we have for Aquarius. You have Knight of Cups in reverse. I'm going to take it in reverse. You have Ace of Swords. This is the third reading that I'm getting this in. And King of Swords. Swords are your element, Aquarius. This is the air element, so I'm not really surprised, to be honest. And your advice is Eight of Cups, Justice, and King of Pentacles. Nice. So, yes, you're going to be looking a lot at the conversation and at the way you are in conversations. Look at the King of Swords. This is like a samurai, basically, right? Japanese one. The swallow is covering one of their eyes. It's, of course, like, because it's such a beautiful, sophisticated art, it's like the swallow's eye is this person's eye, right? But this is understanding that you may not know everything, right? Like keeping that open mind towards the other person's position, your twin's position, if you're in contact with them, right? But also seeing what is the master of communication like? Where is the truth in a conversation when it comes to each person expressing themselves and when it comes to conversing and the other person responding? Like what matters? What is important in that dynamic? Why is, like, what makes a good conversation good? And it may feel like you're becoming a little closed off from like opening your heart, right? You're a little, you come to a more calculated approach of how you want to do communication. But that's fine, because deep down you know that you're in that exploration space where you're figuring out, where you're finding your truth, you're finding out who you are, what you stand for, and how to share that vision with others in your life, including your twin. At some point you may feel like you are not close enough to your twin. Like you are gonna be, what's the word? I keep forgetting my words today. But you're gonna be, in need of that care and support from your person, and they won't be around, or they'll be at a distance because they will see that's your vibe, right now. Just to have logical, neutral conversations with that gift of neutrality. But it's fine, and you can also, as part of that communication, can explain that you are finding something, you're discovering something important in this space, and you just need some space to get to it, to make it clear for yourself. In terms of advice, there's a lot going on here, actually. So the Justice is that neutrality part, because if you think Justice is the Libra energy, if you think about that balance and scale, right, it's about that perfect balance. So continue working towards balancing masculine and feminine energy within yourself. There's so much information about it these days. There's also an episode of my show about it. There's a playlist on this channel with the same name, Mindfully Awake. This is my show over here. And you can find the episode about balancing masculine and feminine, right? So there's a lot of value in it for you. Continue developing your business, whatever your understanding of abundance is. And it could be different from what it used to be before, but don't give up on it. Even when you are going through dark night of the soul, or you're just discovering so much and almost like rebuilding your viewpoint and thinking like, oh my god, how could I have been so blind, right? It may strike you, but this area of building abundance, of being a business person, right, is going to be very helpful. It's going to provide that safety harbor even. And also it's going to be important to notice and note your patterns as you come into that discovery and work through them. See how through certain behaviors or certain habits you can bring more of the healthy dynamic, healthy vibration into your territory, so you don't need to succumb to some external support, whether it's from people or substances or some other coping mechanism you could be dealing with, just to feel good or feel balanced, or to be yourself, right? There is something more important here. Well, it's not the best way, that's what I'm trying to say, right? And you're finding out, maybe you didn't feel like the better way, or you're strong enough to go with the best way, but now you're ready. That's what the universe is saying, and it's time to put away, to give up those unhealthy coping mechanisms. Recognize your patterns and heal them so you don't have to run away. That was Aquarius. Okay, and last but not least, we're gonna go into Pisces. Pisces, you are gonna have a very special year next year, because North Node is gonna go into Pisces. So, obviously, I'm not just talking about people with sun sign in Pisces, but if you have a lot of Pisces in your chart, it's gonna hit you strongly. as light workers, it's gonna hit all of us to some extent, obviously. But yeah, just wanted to point that out. So Pisces, your additional theme for 2025 is going to be clearing the access. You're entering a transitional phase and would benefit from clearing away excess clutter, whether it's in your physical body or your physical space. I feel like it's also in your emotional space, can be as well. But to me, when I hear this message from this card, it's like it almost like makes the job a little easier, because they literally talk about your space, like your home, for example. I mean, it could be your office desk in the office, right? But you know what I mean. Or your physical body, like your health. And, you know, especially when you have a good formula, a good structure for that space, then even if it's off, it's not that difficult to bring it back on track. So, but clearing the access is gonna be important. So in your connection, you have Ace of Pentacles, you have Knight of Swords, and 10 of Pentacles. I love it. And then the advice is 9 of Pentacles. It's gonna be year 9, by the way. 3 of Pentacles. A lot of Pentacles for Pisces, and 7 of Wands. A little bit of fire there. Yeah, it will be a transformational time, because there's going to be a lot of things that are outside of your comfort zone, Pisces. So when it comes to your connection with your twin, there's going to be an opportunity to build something tangible together in the, you know, the physical existence. For some of you, it could be different, of course, depending on where you are with the twin. You could be signing a contract to start a project together. You could be moving in together. You could start talking about family budget suddenly, all right? Maybe you were just dating and you didn't really, like you each had your own space and your own budget and you never talked about this, but this is going to be that part. Which is a little intimidating, especially when it comes to communicating about it, but this is like the grown-up conversation. Like, how many kids do we want to have and when, right? What's our vision about it? What I would say is it's important, to get started on it from your own right. Like, if you have your vision and you don't know the vision of your person yet, you can already take steps to bring your vision closer, to start creating that space. But also don't think that everything is just gonna automatically work out and your person is gonna be on board. It's important to communicate that vision and to ask them what their vision of family life, of happily ever after is, whatever that next phase is for you. If you're already married and have kids, then, you know, maybe thinking once kids graduate and go to college, what are you gonna do then? How's it gonna make your life different? Right? Like, whatever it is, it's like looking a little bit forward, maybe a lot for some people if you're creating a family, right? But having those conversations and feeling, well, you won't necessarily feel ready, but it's like it needs to be spoken, right? Because let's say you are at the point when you are going to move in together and create a family, but you're only talking about moving together because you're thinking, well, let's take it one step at a time, right? But you already have your hopes up and you're already in your mind giving the names to your children, right? And then imagine you move in together and then you understand that you actually have a very different idea on the future, or your lifestyle is so different, it's really hard to even live together just as is, right? And then you start talking, maybe starting off with something simpler and, you know, going into the future, and then the person like, whoa, that's definitely not the way I want to do this, right? And then you'll feel betrayed. You'll feel like this person took advantage of you because like suddenly they sprayed on you. But the truth is you never really talked to them about it. And it's important. And it's almost like, now that I'm saying it, if you're moving in together, then talk about your lifestyles when you move in together. What's that gonna be like, right? Or maybe you have a safe way to give it a test run and see how it works for the both of you. When it comes to the advice, we have 9 of Pentacles, 3 of Pentacles, and 7 of Wands. So first of all, there is some kind of breaking free that you're doing this year, And it's important to embrace that, right? Clearing excess can be that too, because once you cleanse off the burden and the, you know, the old and the clutter and stuff that's kind of bringing you down to a certain degree, then you open up space for building something new. And when you're building something new, remember that it's just as important to be able to find that harmony and abundance within your own right, just on the individual level, just as you are, and also be able to collaborate with others. So don't shy away from either of those things. There could be people that are more comfortable just being by themselves and like, I don't need to ask any permissions, I don't need to negotiate, I just do what I want and how I want it, right? Great. But we're social creatures. I'm sure you want to build that relationship with your twin. I'm sure you, in your mission and purpose, you'll want to find good clients or partners or something along that line, right? So it's just as important to work on your skills and your capacity to be with others, to work with others, to find those sweet spots, to be open, and meaning with open heart and open mind, right? So don't dismiss any of those areas, whichever you're closer to. It's important to, again, keep balance in this as well. Okay, that was our reading today. I've gone through all of the zodiac signs. I hope this was useful for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. And if I don't talk to you again, then of course, happy holidays. I will be embarking on my journey just a few days from now. So there will be, once I leave, there may be some gaps in my readings, but I'll definitely record a couple of things before I leave. Then we'll see what happens. But, you know, I just want to say again, thank you very much for all your support, for all your energy. And I do believe, and I have this vision for what the next year is going to bring. I have a lot of creative plans in mind. By the way, I'll link my latest episode of the show to this one in the comments, so you guys can discover what tarot is like for yourself if you've been wanting to do that. I speak about it at length and give you some ideas of how you can use it for yourself, even if you're not a tarot reader. All right, so with all that said, sending you a lot of love, and until next time.